It is Guatney Unplugged with Scott Romine.
One of the top guys that got me interested in bodybuilding was actually Bob Paris. Do you remember him?
Oh, gosh, yeah. And he was, man, I bought magazines with Bob Paris because he looked like if you took a He-Man figure and made it a real person, you got Bob Paris. It seemed obtainable. It wasn't overly huge. He was a living action figure. He really was. He was an action figure.
Exactly. Bingo. Exactly. Bob looked like a streamlined, I don't know, G.I. Joe or one of those characters back then. 2006, Flex magazine actually ranked Bob Paris as the most aesthetic athlete in the history of bodybuilding. So, I mean, that's probably says something right there.
If you're beating Frank Zane for that title, you are doing something right.
One more thing on Bob. He's quoted in a magazine or a publication, and he said this. He found the intense process of chemical preparation for these competitions to be incredibly draining and dehumanizing. You know, when I read that quote, Scott, that spoke to me, that word dehumanizing. That was one of the reasons why I got out of the sport. I enjoyed the training, I enjoyed the dieting, even the pre-contest dieting, but the steroid use is absolutely dehumanizing. I try to talk people out of it now on Facebook and Faith and Fitness magazine because it's just not worth it. You know, guys are putting their lives on the line, you know, to win a trophy or to be an Instagram star. You know, it just isn't worth it.
It's not worth dying at 50 to get a lot of likes on Instagram. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
I'll just go over a bit of his resume. Now, 83 NPC, he was overall national bodybuilding champion. 84 top finish at Mr. Olympia at 7th. 88 Night of Champions, placed 3rd. That's a top pro show out there.
He did a lot of magazines, Shawn. He did a ton of magazines in the 80s.
Yeah, no, some of the first bodybuilding magazines I picked up had Bob Paris on the cover. 89, he came out and on the Oprah Winfrey show about his being a gay man. He came out and talked about that. 91, he retired early at 32. You know, one of the things I respect about Bob is this. He was very outspoken about, you know, the steroid issue in bodybuilding. Everybody knows there's a problem there.
Sure.
And he was advocating for testing. And, you know, that kind of went nowhere. He quit the sport when he was 32. He got out early. And, you know, we just kind of went on with his life. He never, apparently, according to his book, he never intended to be a lifestyle bodybuilder. He didn't want to, just didn't want to do it.
He wrote in his book, Gorilla Suit, he said when he reached the top of the mountain, he realized that he had climbed the wrong mountain.
Yeah, you know, I've talked to him a little bit on email, trying to get him to come on Guatney Unplugged. And he's working on another book, and he says he gets the other project together, he will definitely come on and talk about it. So hopefully he will. I remember him coming to Arkansas in about 1990, right after the Oprah thing, or around the time of the Oprah thing, and given a speech at a college in Conway, Arkansas, and it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was. I think he was one of the first athletes to, you know, talk about his sexual orientation. When I got into sport in the mid '80s, I seen pictures of Bob Paris and Frank Zane, and you know, that looked to me that those physiques appeared to me to be obtainable. What we see today is just off the charts. Don't you think?
Oh, he would be considered just small, you know, by what they're doing today. And you know, there's a testament to the way he felt about getting out of it early and getting away from the steroids. He's still alive. A lot of the people that he competed with, they died in their 50s.
Yeah, no, this is a growing list. We've talked about this on other, you know, past shows, Scott, and you know my feelings about the subject.